Hi everyone, this is Gabriella with the Community Foundation serving Southwest Colorado. In this video, Lindsay Laughlin and Rosie Springers will guide you through your brand new portal hosted by C-Suites. Keep in mind that not all buttons will apply to you as a fund advisor. Occasionally, I may pause the video to clarify something. In the meantime, please sit back, relax, and follow along, and I'll speak with you again at the end of the video.
Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar hosted by Foundant Technologies. So we see all of the tabs built out here and we're just going to take a brief tour of what these might look like. She doesn't have a lot of information, so I'm going to switch over to a more seasoned donor in just a second. We can see that this landing screen of her fund is going to mention that one recent contribution for $25,000. That's the current balance in her fund. She's going to have a list of contributions with a little bit more detail living in the contributions tab. And at this point, the other thing that is going to be populated for her will be her receipts tab, where we keep acknowledgement letters. So this now will show all of the acknowledgement letters for Brandy Alexander. We can see those acknowledgement letters from when she gave those online donations. So she could click into this and view that acknowledgement letter. I'm going to log in as Green Giant, and his landing screen is a little bit different because he first has to choose which fund he wants to log in and view. So let's take a tour of the donor advised fund online. This landing screen will not only show recent contributions, but it will also show recent grants coming out of this fund. He can get a little bit more detail on those contributions by clicking on the contributions tab. Same thing with the grants tab. He has a little bit more information about those grants. First, we can see the grants summarized by organization. He's given 8 grants to my foundation, 2 grants to Feeding America. We could click into there to get the donation or the grants that are associated with those organizations, or we can scroll down a little bit further and we can get the individual grants. He's going to be able to filter and sort these columns as he wants to. I'm going to skip over grant requests just for a second so that we can preview the rest of these tabs. He will also be able to view all of the fund statements that we create for him. It is actually available as soon as we have hit publish. It's available to him online in real time. This tab will show files.
So I'm going to cut in here because the speaker doesn't go into too much detail about how this file tab relates to you, the portal user. Files are where we, the Community Foundation, can upload any documents that you may not have access to already via the other tabs. If we say that we've uploaded a file to you via the portal, this is where you would find that. Okay, back to the video.
He has a tab where he would be able to donate either to a fund. He would be able to send money maybe to my operating fund out of his donor advised fund. He again has a receipts tab. This is going to be donor specific instead of fund specific. So he gives to his donor advised fund, his designated fund. He gives to my operating fund, and we can pull any of those acknowledgement letters by clicking on the document.
So I just wanted to pause the video here to say that these next 2 tabs called Financials and Investments are not available on the portal yet, but will be released later on this year. We're so excited to be able to offer these services to you when they're available, but for now, here's a sneak peek.
And then a couple more things that he has access to view. He can look at financials. This might be something that he wants to see in real time, what his statement of activities looks like. So he could say, let me just see month to date what my fund has been doing. And he can pull this. It's going to say that it's a draft. We've not closed out February. We probably haven't entered any investment income or loss for the month of February. So this is not a closed period. It's just showing him what activity has taken place so far. He's going to be able to see the contributions total that have come in, those expenses that have gotten paid out, and then also other expenses like the admin fees that would be separate from the granting that he's done. We can also pull a balance sheet. So if he just wants to see where he is at right now, he can look as of today These are the assets that he has at the foundation, and he can see his equity balances as well. And lastly, this investments tab, this is going to show him how his investments have been doing. So he has been in a couple different investment pools within my foundation. You can see that we're going to be able to show him the interest in dividend income that his investments have earned or his donor advised fund has earned, any investment manager fees he's paying, realized gains, unrealized gain losses, whatever we keep track of at our foundation, he'll be able to see populated on this screen. So now to end the tour of this portal, the donor portal, let's jump in and actually submit a grant request out of the fund. When my donor is logged into their fund, they're going to see a couple options on the grant request tab. First, he has a dropdown of all of the grantees he's given to in the past within my organization out of this fund. So he could very quickly pull one of these as the grantee he wants to give to today. He also will see foundation funds that he's given to in the past. This would create a transfer grant within my system to say, I'm going to move it from the donor advised fund to Feeding America's agency fund. And then something else, he's going to have the option to just enter grantee information manually, but if he knows that it's something that exists, he will be able to search for an organization. He can say, I want to give to Feeding America, but not the Feeding America I usually give to. He is going to have two sets of results. First, all of the Feeding America organizations that we as a community foundation have already granted to, so we have a relationship with them and they are grantees in our organization. He'll also have GuideStar results. So if he doesn't see the correct Feeding America, he can choose a new one from the GuideStar results. And I will start here and say that he wants to give to the one in Southwest Virginia. He can start there and create a new grant request. Let's say that he's giving for general operating support. And he's going to give $1,400. He can make this grant anonymous. He could also make it recurring. So we could have this coming out of his fund monthly or maybe annually for a couple of years. He can set up all of the recurring parameters if he chooses this option here. He is also able to choose a file. So scan in a file and attach it right to this grant request. And then we as employees at the foundation would be able to view that file with the request. He can tell us what he is attaching, and he can also send us special instructions for this grant record. At this point, I'm going to review the grant request as Green Giant. Looks like we're going to send $1,400 to Feeding America Southwest Virginia. He could either edit it or submit the request at this point. So now that that is submitted, I'm going to say continue, and I just want to show that this grant is now living out here in a request state. We can see that our donor advisor or our fund advisor has the option to still cancel this grant at this point because we've not moved it through the system as employees at the foundation.
Hello, this is Gabriella again. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us here at the Community Foundation, and we would be happy to serve you. Thank you again, and we hope you enjoy the new software.